Next Sunday, don't miss the world premiere of Almost Human. In the year 2046, Detective John Kennicks was ambushed and left for dead. Now, as he returns to the force, it will take a machine.
I'm Dorian.
Are you a robot?
Yes, I am.
I'm not driving with one of those things.
To bring him back to life.
I can't say that I was born, but I was made to feel.
Fantastic. I get the synthetic with the bleeding heart.
Almost Human, premiering Sunday on Fox.
You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your number one source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
The AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's American Horror Story After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's American Horror Story After Show.
Discussion topic.
Oh.
Good evening, AfterBuzzers. We are here at the AfterBuzz TV studios giving you everything American Horror Story. I am your host for the evening, David Schifilliti, joined by the beautiful,
Stunning.
beautiful panel. Sarah, Oriana, Jillian.
Hi.
Welcome, ladies.
And welcome to you.
Thank you. We're doing season 3, episode 6, called The Axeman Cometh. It was a good episode tonight.
Great episode.
So many little bits revealed.
Yeah, a lot of little tiny things, but I feel like that are giving us such a great picture of what's to come that I'm really excited.
Well, I know the fans are super excited. Sorry, guys, my voice is a little...
That's Jillian, everyone.
My voice is a little messed up this week. I feel like it sounded like Jessica Lange, and now I sound like... I don't even know. But anyway, I'm here because I needed to be here, even though I'm under the weather, because you guys are awesome. And at the top of the show, we were actually reading your tweets. We're sort of catching up on what you guys thought of the episode. So the Axeman did come.
The Axeman did come.
And he is creepy.
I love him.
Yeah, he's really.
But before we start talking about the episode, there are a few shout outs that I feel like we should give to our fans.
Agreed.
Because we do love them. We do love you guys. And I wrote down a couple of your names, a couple of your Twitter handles, and we have Austin Dowdy.
Yes. Super fan.
Carl Myers.
Yep.
At Bowstring Baby, at They Taste So Good.
Yummy.
Yum.
Will M. Smalls, Isaiah Stevens, Micah McAllister. I'm sorry if I just butchered your name. At G.I. Joe, Steven, and at Sarah Cat.
And I have a couple shout outs in addition.
Please.
I don't know how to pronounce your name, darling, but I think it's Trudy J. From Cape Town. They stream us in Cape Town, South Africa.
Oh, love it.
So, holla. And I have been there, and so I made a little joke on her comment, which was, water for your daughter, lolly to make you jolly, which is what the men say on the beaches. They bring you water and ice lollies.
Which is like an ice cream?
Yes, like a popsicle. Okay. And you just lay on the beach and they bring it to you and you buy it there. And also,
awesome.
Of course, Craig Legg, all the way from the UK.
Yes.
And Juliet, our super fan, our thoughts are with you that you're safe and sound in the Philippines after the big storm.
Yes.
Let's do
Marvelous. Let's jump right into it. Danny Houston arrived this week playing the Axeman.
For any of you that watch Smash, Angelica Houston, her brother.
Yeah. They don't really look similar to me.
No.
She has a very distinct look.
Similar features. I feel like they both have very long faces.
They both have faces.
Yeah.
They both have brown hair.
Noses.
No, I feel like they have similar features. I mean, they don't look exactly the same. They're brother and sister, but you know.
They're both fierce actors.
We see him. We also see another sort of spawn of an actor, Mamie Gunner, who is Meryl Streep's daughter.
I looked it up.
It was a different daughter.
It's actually, Grace Gummer, who is Mamie's sister.
Okay.
Well, they look like twins.
They do look like twins, and they both look like Meryl Streep.
Yes.
So we have a Streep Spawn.
Grace, I believe, is younger. I looked it up because I was like, did she get a name change? What's happening? So,
Spawn of the Street. So it was good. I mean, I'm so like dumbfounded at the moment by the whole episode that it's hard for me to wrap my brain around it. But we started off in 1919, I want to say.
Yep.
We missed a bit of the opening, so we're going to guess 1919 because they gave us that later on in the episode. With the Axeman giving out sort of a warning to New Orleans, and we've seen other serial killers do this throughout history, and we will discuss later on. Sarah found some very interesting facts about the actual Axeman, but he sort of gives a warning to New Orleans of, if you're not playing jazz on Tuesday,
I'm coming for you.
I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah. I'm Cometh, basically. And the girls in the house are sort of riled up by one of these witches who is like, you know what? We are not only suffragettes on the verge of being able to vote and having women's rights and stuff like that, but we're also strong, powerful descendants of Salem. Let's challenge him.
Hear us roar.
Yeah.
Her name is Millie, by the way.
Did she actually? Thank you. Say, hear us roar?
No.
She said something like that, right?
But she was trying to kind of, whip up a little fervor of feminist fervor of kind of like, we're women, we can stand up for ourselves. We don't have to just, cower and do whatever this serial killer
That's
says.
what she said. No man can make us cower in our own home.
So the serial killer has a great cover-up, right? I mean, we find out that a saxophone is also called an axe.
Yeah.
Right.
And he's a jazz musician at a local jazz club, or so we think. And he sort of is on his way home and walks up to Miss Robichuk's school and hears opera.
So good.
I know.
choice.
They drew
Sticking
him
it to the
in.
serial killer.
Yeah.
And boy, did they get him.
Yeah.
They that was overkill. I mean, they killed him, but they overkilled him. That was a mean stabbing.
That was brutal.
Every single one of them was stabbing him repeatedly.
Repeatedly. That was a crime of passion.
Oh, yeah.
If you've seen any Law and Order episodes, you know that when someone gets stabbed more than like 5 times, they're going to claim it was a crime of passion.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I mean, think about
you for
it.
that.
Like after you kill someone, after
Like
you stab
O.J.
someone,
Simpson style.
after
Allegedly.
allegedly.
I'm sorry.
Allegedly.
I'm so sorry.
If you
guys.
stab someone and then you kill them, that's one thing. But if you keep stabbing them past the point of being dead, it reveals anger.
I just feel like one stabbing probably wouldn't kill somebody.
No, they could still.
You would need a
1,
couple.
2, 3, 4, 5, and then times like the 10 girls.
Well, yeah.
That was really excessive.
I also loved how that was shot because it was sort of, I mean, I know that it wasn't a strobe light, but every flash of light that we got, we sort of saw another cloaked witch, and I thought that was so cool.
Scary too because they were moving quickly. To me,
Yeah.
it seemed like they were moving at almost an unhuman pace.
And there was a lot of blood.
There was a lot of blood, and the main witch, Millie, when she was doing her tarot cards, and she pulls the death and says that card was for you. I mean, she moved so fast.
Yeah.
So it was really cool to see them use their powers that they had been reluctant to use up until then. So it was really cool to see that, back then.
It was awesome.
Yeah, I love that. We're like all like.
But then we
reveling in it.
it plays into the story when we transition to Zoe, who I'm now going to call Zoe Balls.
Zoe Balls, we decided, because like she grew a big
She
pair.
grew a pair.
Well, ever since the zombies, and we've seen her like just sort of coming into her own, she's just become this strong, powerful woman.
Almost obnoxious, I would say.
the
Again,
verge.
on the pendulum
still
has
annoying.
swung over to the other side where she's like really pushing people's buttons.
Right.
But she's going through MM's box. She finds a gun. She finds
Like a minigun.
a tiny little lady pistol.
Yeah.
And she finds a flask and a little empty vodka bottle that goes rolling and essentially points her in the direction of kind of a locked away storage.
I feel like it was like a little hidden room because later on she is talking about how there used to be hundreds and hundreds of witches living
that's
there
right, with bunks.
and like 8 to a room and stuff like that. So I feel like that could have just been like someone else's room.
That's they
And
don't even
maybe we
use
could
anymore.
see more of that later.
But there was other stuff in there. There was like suitcases, and now it's sort of like become this weird storage
area.
And she finds a spirit board.
And she finds pictures and all kinds of stuff that leads them down the path of, of going down this. But what I wrote down that she tells her fellow witches to witch up.
Yeah.
That was a
Loved
great
that
line.
Witch up, ladies. Let's use the spirit board.
And they were drinking
Well,
absinthe.
they
which
were.
was really
I mean,
fun.
those kind of coming from Zoe, it just really Zoe
It's
balls.
a little shocking.
Yeah.
I mean, Queenie does give her fair warning. Ooh, I just noticed that these lights are not covered anymore. It's very interesting. Sorry. I got distracted for a second. I was like, aren't these normally have cellophane
Bright
on them?
lights.
Sorry.
Lights.
Queenie does
Queenie
warn.
warns her and is like, my grandmother, she said grandmother, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Used a spirit board once and released an evil spirit that burned down her house and
Ripped off her face.
ripped off her face.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, apparently, an angry spirit can.
Can do a lot of damage.
Can do
That
a
was the
lot of
lesson there.
damage.
She was saying, be careful what you wish for, kind of, is the lesson.
And so they start using the spirit board after they sort of get wasted on
In
absinthe.
hopes of getting Madison back or MM.
Yeah.
Finding out where Madison is or communicating
Yeah.
with her in some
Well,
way.
here's my question. They don't know that she's dead. Why do they feel like contacting a spirit is going to help them find her?
She was seen the last time in the house. Like, they all saw her.
Okay.
So I think that they believe that the house has something to do with it. I mean, not that I'm going back to season 1 or anything. Like, it's not like that.
Right.
But, you know, they do know that something happened and maybe somebody has seen something because, you know, they don't know who's died in the house. They don't know any of that information. So I think that Zoe, again, she is sensing new things. And we find out in this episode that she has sort of a new power of sensing correctness. I don't even know what that power is. Like, she moves her hand over a
She
pile
was
of
able
books.
to like read.
She essentially like willed her desire to come forth.
Yeah.
It was like the correct spell. The book came, she put it down, and it opened to the proper.
Right.
I guess
That's
it sort of
skipping ahead a
goes
little.
Is that sort of the be in your
with the
nature
same
thing?
with the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Power that we've seen before.
She's commanding things.
She's definitely commanding. I think that's a great word to describe her.
Right.
This episode.
Yeah.
Is that she's
Agreed.
becoming much more commanding. That's for sure.
And strong-willed.
Yeah.
So the girls find out that there is somebody there, and his name is the Axeman.
The
Yeah.
Axeman. I love how he
has
doesn't
kind
give
of
him.
a sexy voice though, like a good. I don't know. Is that just me?
As sexy as mine. Sarah.
Sexy
Yeah.
as yours.
I'm
exactly.
interested as to why he doesn't give himself a name when he tells them who he is, as opposed to being like, "Oh, I'm the Axeman." Why doesn't he be like, "Oh, I'm Charles,"
Joe.
Well,
or Joe, whatever the hell?
Joe was what he said in the beginning, but
Right.
they wouldn't know who Joe is.
Right, but like
Axeman.
they also wouldn't know who the Axeman was until they go on the internet.
Well, apparently, I mean, Queenie had the reaction that Queenie had when it went to Axeman. She was like, Axeman! And broke the glass.
Right.
So she had some kind of reaction, whether she just knew that was a scary name.
doesn't sound good.
Or she had some kind of understanding of it. I mean, I don't know
Maybe.
that we can be sure.
Yeah.
yeah. It was weird for me. Can I talk about when he was like inside Spalding?
I don't think he
no, I don't know if he
was.
was
Was that like
either.
what was happening?
Okay, so
there?
maybe we should
we'll
kind
get
of go
there.
down
catch
there.
up. Catch up. Sorry.
That's okay. I was thinking, like, you know, the girls are just. I was just kind of going down my line of that we see that Fiona's getting chemo.
Oh yeah.
It flashes on that, and she's all of a sudden can hear everyone's thoughts.
She has Nan's power now.
Yeah.
What do we think that's about?
I don't know if it might have to do with the chemicals in the chemo might be messing with her sort of makeup and is sort of giving her different strengths and taking away other powers that she might be having.
Or has
Because, I
she
mean,
always been able to do that? and
No,
we just
she said,
haven't
"I've
seen it?"
never been
She
able to
said
do this
she's never
before."
been able to, and her health and vitality are dwindling.
Yeah.
and yet she
Right.
has this new ability. Is it only going to be when she's hooked up to chemo?
To the chemo? I mean,
That's-
you are technically poisoning your body
Right.
when you're getting chemo and radiation.
She's
stuff
been
like
poisoning
that.
her body for a really long time with cocaine
true,
and
I
various
guess.
pills and cigarettes and alcohol.
Yeah. Different type of poison.
Different type
Yeah.
of poison.
Yeah.
More fun poison.
But the one thing we find out, besides the fact that she can hear people's thoughts, is that she is in dire need of companionship.
Yeah.
She is looking for that one final great love of her life. And she hears everybody's sort of like last wishes almost as she's in the chemo room. You know, she hears the elderly woman's wish to be at her daughter's wedding. And it really does like hit home for me because Fiona is a fierce bitch. We know this. But like in that moment, she was human. You know, she's seeking one last love.
Yeah.
And she's so
my heart.
fiercely alone.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
she has created a world in which she's alone. The way she acts, the way she's so selfish. But yeah, to break down in that moment and kind of confess that all she wants is one last love affair is very humanizing.
I also don't think that she's told anybody yet that she's sick.
I don't think she
No.
is
So I
either.
think she's sort of hiding this
MM.
from. She did tell MM, but then she killed her. So that doesn't count. Just yet.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
other than that, I mean, if she's hiding her sickness from people, her being alone in the chemo room and wanting these other things and finally seeing more human sides of her and her telling the woman, go get a great dress. You're going to get to go to your
That was
daughter's wedding.
cute.
Blow the bank. Like,
We're seeing her reach out a little
Yeah.
bit more every episode, do something a little bit more human, a little more humanizing.
Yeah.
to try
Like,
and
that was
connect.
kind. Last time, the whole baby thing, that was out of guilt.
Yeah.
Like, that was actual kindness, I think.
Yeah.
I just love, I know that you guys at home are just obsessed with Jessica Lange just as much as we are, but she just shows so much depth. Like, I love discovering things along with the audience. She sort of reveals little teeny things about her character in every episode. You know, we feel for her a little bit, we hate
Yeah.
her a little bit. I love her. She gives me the warm and fuzzies.
She's multidimensional.
Yes.
She's
Yeah.
capable of really producing these multidimensional characters that you can't just feel one way about, which is what a great actress does.
Yeah. No, she's incredible.
Speaking of great actresses, we follow Foxy next as she returns home with Hank the Skank.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's an amazing.
Guys, okay, Hank the Skank, go
Hank
with
the
it.
Skank.
So Hank returns her home.
She looks amazing. That ponytail was
I know, I was
flawless.
like, Sarah Paulson rocks the
Yeah.
I was gonna say she's also kind of rocking her blindness.
Yeah.
like she looks great.
Yeah.
she really is working with it.
Yeah.
you know, I mean, her scars and her scarred eyes, like she's just physically embodying that role so
Yeah.
well. I think I believe her.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Do you know? Are you?
No,
David,
I
are you-
agree. I
guys
agree
don't
with
think
you
she
guys
looks amazing?
completely. I do think she looks great. I've been waiting to comment on this, what I'm about to comment on, since I've started watching the show
Like
and the
since season one?
character. No.
Oh, okay.
This
Just wondering how long
season.
it had been.
yeah. How long have you been waiting, David?
I've been waiting for 3 years. you guys. That since the season started, Foxy's character has worn a lot of white, and it's sort of a costume designer's trick to put a character that you're supposed to sympathize with and be on their side, to have them in
Interesting.
lighter colors surrounded by other people wearing darker colors.
Yes.
And finally we're seeing her wearing all black,
Yeah.
which is going to be sort of a tell that she's going to be a darker, stronger
Witch.
witch
Yeah.
now.
She's gonna embrace her witchiness.
Well, look what she
Yes.
says. You know, why do you have roses in the room? I need chrysanthemums, every single kind. I need strength. I need power.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I'm very excited.
I'm excited too because I felt like Cordelia, you know, Foxy and Zoe were annoying to me, that they were these kind of submissive wallflower, like, meh, you know, just wafy characters, which, I mean, maybe every story needs them, but as women, they annoy me.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
just pick a side, one or another, you know, just don't be in the middle. Wah, wah. So to see her be fierce,
Yeah.
and fierce against Hank, and send him out to open that door, you know, and be like, walk out that door. I mean, that was just, I got goosebumps.
And
Well,
then
'cause
her
again-
mom.
Yes. And again, he touched her and she got the flashes of the red and she's like, who's the redhead?
Yeah, she knows.
And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And she's like, get out.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, Fiona has a great quote in this. She says, the gift that she has, it's the greatest gift to have, but the hardest one to live with.
Right.
Because you see
Right.
the ultimate truth.
And she said, you have the light. The one thing that I wanted to, well, I guess when we finish, we won't mention, the one thing that we didn't mention was when that Zoe found MM and Spalding kind of
Right.
attacked her, which was sort of in between those two, but I guess we can go back to it.
Yeah. We can get to that now.
Okay.
I mean, Foxy finds out that
Yeah.
Auntie Myrtle has been burned.
Heartbroken.
Heartbroken.
Myrtle was a mother to her.
I mean, she
Yes.
calls her Auntie Myrtle, and she's not even related to her.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it just goes to show you the deep lengths that she felt for this woman.
Yeah.
who sort of helped raise her.
Right.
When Fiona wasn't there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Fiona didn't tell her, and she feels a little bit betrayed by that.
Yeah.
So she's got a lot of emotional garbage going on right now.
On top of having to learn to be a blind person.
Right.
Sure.
And she's supposed to be on bed rest, but we never saw her laying in bed.
No. Not at all.
She made it there for a second.
She like touched it. She touched
sat
it. Poor thing.
Poor thing. But the girls are in the attic with Spaulding after Zoe sort of coerces the Axeman to tell her where to find MM. And they're questioning him and torturing him because
That kind of made me sad.
It made me sad too.
I felt bad for
It was like a Lord
Spaulding.
of the Flies moment.
Yeah.
Where they were all like ganging up on him, like, you did this to her.
Right. And
well,
they-
what else are they supposed to think? They find MM in his bedroom of sorts place.
We finally get a clear view of the attic.
Yeah.
Dies.
Yeah.
Dies. Tea sets, dollies,
Incense.
incense.
Well, David, what did
burning.
you say about incense?
I said incense has a very strange way of masking the smell of anything.
Not a dead body,
Clearly.
sir.
Apparently, or she was gagging because of the smell of incense, because the smell of incense also makes me want to gag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is when you smell incense, turn the other way.
Yes. Run.
Hiding a dead body 101.
To what you were talking about, I also thought that it was the Axeman's voice in the beginning.
As did I, but I guess it wasn't.
But
It wasn't?
Spaulding is a strong man because he has
That's
been
true.
around Fiona for so long that when they go to question him, that's his himself, I think.
Okay.
He is saying what he is literally saying, I had sex with cold dead MM and I've been
also
wanting
don't know
her.
that he didn't.
We don't know that he didn't. He's saying that I've been wanting her since the moment I saw her, and I knew that I would feel whole again, and I would be a whole man once I did that.
Right.
He could be making this up because he's protecting Fiona ultimately. He said that he killed her. But we don't know that whole necrophilia part
Didn't
isn't
happen.
true.
Yeah.
Right.
So now there's a big question.
I don't know. Fans, tweet us.
Yeah,
let
fans.
us know.
Yeah, let us know.
Let us know what you think. If you think that the Axeman sort of, since Zoe pre-released him, if the Axeman was taking over Spaulding's body during that conversation, because I think we're all a bit confused. in
Or
the
was
room.
just talking because Nan can hear things.
And my interpretation was that Spaulding was just cleverly thinking really hard.
And I think that that's what Zoe thinks too, because she says, you know, he's been in a house full of witches. Like,
Yeah,
he
he's
knows.
strong and he can keep
knows a few
secrets.
things.
Didn't he say though? I didn't write it down. But didn't he say an exact quote though when they were talking to him that the Axeman had said earlier? That's why I think we thought that.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Fan Coven,
Yeah,
tell
let
us.
know. I'm
didn't
pretty
catch
sure I'm
that
right on that.
other-
I'm pretty sure, but like that they said the exact same quote, but I didn't write it down sillily.
Oh,
But
well, yes, fans, please tell
Please.
us.
Yeah.
Find it, hashtag fan Coven, so all
Yeah.
the tweets go together.
Yeah.
Cute.
I know it's super cute.
Our fans are the best.
Our fans are the best.
I don't know what you guys have next, but I have Misty Day and the
I have Kyle freaking on Misty.
Okay, first of all, when we saw Misty, she's like my favorite character now. First of all, the costumes, incredible.
Incredible. And what were you saying? You said that she could have just walked off Melrose.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Jillian was saying that.
Like,
Yes.
loving
Yeah.
it. Like, she looks like she's a Free People model.
Super-
Dead.
yeah,
Dead.
yeah.
totally.
What? Like, love her.
I
She's
do
my
too.
favorite.
I think she's amazing. But
looks
she
amazing.
If you're going with my whole theory of like using costuming to like tell a story with your characters, she does wear a lot more like looser clothing, a lot
Right.
more earthier colors, and she was wearing red this week.
She has so
Yeah,
much
beautiful.
attitude.
She does.
And like swagger.
Yeah.
She's got a feather in her
The
hair.
feather in the hair. I mean, she's just.
Amazing.
sad.
She's amazing.
I know.
I mean,
I
I
know.
don't know who doesn't love this character.
Yeah.
She's amazing. And
She's
so
watering her plants.
she's watering her
You know-
myrtle.
Yeah,
Myrtle.
You know who loves her? Myrtle Snow.
Yeah.
Who's buried in the ground right now. Did you guys see the red hair popping out of the ground?
And then
I was dying.
the little hand comes out and she's like, no,
She's
be
like,
patient.
You like my swamp water. So good.
But the hand did look, it wasn't charred anymore.
Yeah, it was looking better, and she has hair now growing, so
So
that's a good
yeah.
sign.
That's right, because she was bald. That's
Right.
right, all the hair burned off. So, I'm sorry, I'm just rehashing in my mind.
Oh yeah, the hair
That's
burned
right.
off.
She was like a naked
Completely
charred
charcoal
baby, right?
Pretty much.
So in the midst of all of that, we finally see the return of Frank and Kyle. Like, where have you been in the past 2 episodes, Kyle?
No longer covered in blood.
And I had totally thought he was with her the whole time, and she hasn't seen him. And she's like, "Where have you been?
Where was he?"
Love her.
He smelled She said some cute little Southern-ism of, "You smell like a pack of cats." Toes or whatever.
My daddy used to say that.
My daddy. You look like you've been rode hard and put away wet. My daddy used to say that. And I'm like, damn, your daddy was not nice to you.
Well, because he smells probably like God knows what. And she tells him he needs a bath.
So she gives him a bath.
Which is like his worst nightmare.
Yeah, he sort of gets a flashback.
He has post-traumatic stress disorder. It's really sad.
I feel
PTSD for short.
From not only being brought back to life with other people's parts, but also being
his mom.
molested by his mother.
But it makes me sad though that he thinks that like he associates Misty with that just because of the.
I think he was just associating the bath.
Yeah,
and
it was
her
the shower,
like
right? And her
going,
doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he like flipped on her, and she's not.
And he smashes her like 8-track player.
He broke Stevie.
Leather and lace was playing. It was amazing.
He broke Stevie, and she cries.
She's like, "You're a monster.
You're a monster. You broke
he
Stevie."
sort of realized what he's done when she starts showing emotion.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, and then enter Zoe.
Of course.
God forbid she's not around.
Right.
Hey,
save the day.
Hey, bitch. Haven't seen you in like 2 weeks, but I need you. Come with.
Yeah. Oh wait. She goes,
"Get in. We're going shopping."
He's like, "Oh, take Kyle." And she's like, "Well, I need you too." I'm surprised she went. I'd be like, "Mm-mm."
Well,
last time you brought him.
That's
like,
true. Why
so
did
much
she
trouble.
go with her?
Well, and Zoe has Madison, and I was like, how did she get her there? I know that's a weird. It's like me overthinking things, but like,
How did she get her where? Downstairs?
No, to the like. she
downstairs
brought-
to the greenhouse area.
Yeah.
She had 2 other girls help her.
Or Spalding.
I know.
Like,
I guess
he would do
Spalding.
We
anything.
just didn't see it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. It's just one
Fill
of
in
those
the
things.
gaps.
I know. It's just
But Misty, I mean, she's pretty kind, I think, for doing what she does. Because she's pretty much like, she's dead, you're on your own. And Zoe's like, please?
Well, she says that there's too much death in her and that she's already rotting, that she can help her, like,
I'll help you dig a hole.
but, like, there's no reason to bring her back. But she helps her anyway.
Right.
But
that's push it out of her.
But to me, she kind of wasn't being truthful because
Right,
when
because
she's
she was able to do it.
she totally did it like, easily. So she's like,
three
she's
pumps.
dead. I'll help you dig a hole, and then 2 minutes later, they're pushing the dead out of her, and she comes right back.
Yeah, but we also don't know what Zoe's capable of because we also don't know if it was her resurgence that brought Kyle back.
Right.
So, like, you know, again,
Touché.
not that I'm on the full Zoe Supreme train. I mean, I'm pretty much like 85% because I know a lot of you are on Team Nan. I was getting like so many tweets like Team Nan for Supreme.
Me too.
So like, hold the phone on that one.
Can I just say that on our live tweeting from Fan Coven, Hank the Skate just got a hashtag
Oh, that's
from
amazing.
Leslie Dowdy.
Nice.
So
Make it a worldwide
That's
trending
amazing.
topic.
Yes.
So, you know, we don't really know if Zoe sort of moved it along in that sense, like with her powers.
it's true.
If Zoe is a much stronger witch than we realize.
Right, and she it seems like she is
She's
every
just not as
week.
confident. Yeah.
But as every week we have our predictions of, you know, who's the Supreme, who knows. But Zoe certainly has more powers than she's aware of.
Yeah.
I mean,
Or is her helping Misty bring MM back to life part of her power to will things?
Yeah, like it's the two together.
is it all the
combined.
same thing? Yeah, I don't know.
Who knows? There's a lot to be discovered, but MM is back to life, pops up and is like, I need a cigarette.
Yeah.
How fantastic is
Feel
She's
your
not
girl.
like a Frank and MM. She's
No.
like
No,
the real.
she's MM.
She's
Do you know who you
MM.
are? I am Madison Montgomery.
Yeah.
I have two.
I make $7 million a picture and I got 2 Teen Choice Awards.
That girl was like,
That was
snap,
great.
snap.
Amazing.
But she's seeing everything like sort of like fuzzy and like her hearing is going in and out because she's sort of reaccustoming.
And also,
being
she's
back to
throwing
life.
up everything that she takes in. Like, she threw up the ginger ale.
Right. Is she not like alive inside?
Who knows if what they're pushing did,
Or what still needs to
right?
come
What still
out.
needs to come out.
Because her face looked better when we saw her the second time around.
Right.
I mean, when she
Yes.
first popped up, she was all crusty and gross and
But
like,
she has been dead for how
Quite
long
some
now? Like
time.
a few days.
I would say longer if she's like rotting and like
Maybe a
her like
week?
flesh is
Yeah.
like sort of
Maybe under a week.
gross.
Well, we're on We
We're on
really don't
episode
know.
6.
We're on episode 6. She died in episode, 3?
Yeah, she could be dead for a month now.
Yeah.
I don't
don't
think
know
it's
the
that
time
long.
frame.
We don't really
Yeah.
know the time
Her
frame.
arm looked pretty fresh, though.
Yeah.
Like, it was weird.
It was pretty great how that attached.
So it was just
Slap
like
a little mud on it.
Perfect.
And Misty's like, well, where's her arms? I was like, oh,
I
hold
have
on. Let me check my bag. Got it. What?
She's like, I'll just sew back on. And she's like, have you seen his scars? You're not that good with a needle and thread, honey.
Too funny.
Poor Frank and Kyle.
I know. Poor Frank and Kyle.
So the next thing that I have is a big star that says, Hank is a witch hunter.
Yeah, I have the exact same thing.
Didn't I predict that already?
Sarah.
Someone else did, I feel like.
Can we get a gold star over here for
Someone
Sarah?
else predicted it, and then Sarah's stealing their thunder.
Okay, that side of the table can get a gold star. Steven, do we have a gold star sound?
You know what?
Not mine. Here you go.
What was that?
I know. I'm pretty that was an original thought of mine. It was like based on things I'd read and things like that I like
So
I knew
you're
there was
admitting
gonna
you
be.
have no original thoughts.
No, I mean
I'm just kidding. Oh my god.
Anyway,
She did her
Anyway.
research.
She did do
came
her
up with a
research.
fantastic.
All right, fine.
I'm
Whatever.
a good researcher.
You are a good researcher. I'll give you that. Yes, I have the same thing. I have Hank in cahoots with
wait.
Angela Bassett.
Yes.
Hold the phone.
Hold it.
We forgot to mention there was some nudity in this episode.
Oh, the
Just
nakedness.
Frank and Kyle.
Yeah,
Evan Peters'
forget.
booty.
We saw his
Yeah.
butt. We saw full,
Sorry.
full
Or someone's
butt.
butt.
I had to mention it, because
looks
I
like
was.
him, but you're right. It could be
It could
anyone.
be anybody.
Maybe a double.
It
Who
could be a
knows?
double.
But anyway,
It was
sorry.
a naked rampage. You're right.
Yes. We forgot to mention that.
I mean,
It
Misty was
added-
less concerned that he was like attacking her naked than he was just attacking.
Right.
It did add to the intensity, I think, of the scene.
Right.
That he was naked.
And Zoe wasn't like, "Hey, why aren't you wearing clothes?" Like,
Well, she chose those body
She
parts.
knows what he's working
Yeah.
with.
But this is
That's
also
true.
like, it does add to the sort of PTSD aspect and how just of a mess he is and what a
Right.
mistake they made by doing that, because he like goes to her and is like crying on her and he's naked and he's on his knees. I mean,
Right.
how,
Poor thing.
how pathetic can you get?
Yeah. Back to Hank being in cahoots with Miss Angela Bassett.
Madame LeBeau.
Maddie
which
Noble.
isn't
Her
that
face.
shocking. I think a couple of.
I was a little surprised.
I was surprised.
Actually, a lot of the fans predicted that she was going to have something to do
Yeah.
with it.
I mean, it makes sense now that they've been talking and that we find out that he is a witch hunter.
We found out
and
a
that,
lot.
Alexander
lot.
Breckenridge's character was a descendant of Salem.
And her name
that
was
Kaylee.
Kaylee. And that Foxy has been sort of doing, I'm assuming research, but like doing like family
Finding these
trees
people.
and finding these people.
Right.
And trying to bring them to the school to help them control their powers and
We find out why the numbers are down, and the numbers are down because Hank alone has killed 9 witches in the past 3 years.
yeah, it's 3 witches a year.
I thought it was 9 in a year.
Oh, I thought it was in 3.
I
But it
don't
could
know.
be.
9
It's
and
a
3.
9 and 3
Oh,
years.
okay.
Yeah.
So that's why a lot of the numbers are down. And, you know, the girls are realizing it because, again, let me flash back to when they find all of the sort of class photos. Every year is less and less. So does Hank come from a long line of hunters?
Interesting.
We don't know. Or is there
Yeah.
more hunters than just Hank? Because obviously he's in cahoots with
And
Marie. but-
also, only 3 a year isn't enough to like diminish the country's amount. Do you know what I mean? Like that
Yeah.
doesn't seem like enough to really like diminish the numbers.
Well, and that's why Marie gets on him. And It's just
Right.
like, what have you been doing? Like, you're in love with Delia. You're in love with her. That's why nothing is happening. And I sort of buy it.
Me too.
I think he loves her enough to not chop
to
off her
kill
head,
her?
maybe. But
Right.
I have a question. Nan can hear thoughts. Why can't she hear Hank
His
the
thoughts.
Skank's thoughts?
Well-
he's not around that much, but I mean, there's a witch hunter in the house. Why is she not picked up on that? Why have no witches picked up on his, other than Fiona, picking up on his complete
Right.
BS and knowing that he's an imposter and he's a bad person?
Right.
No one else has picked up on that this is a bad guy.
It's very possible
Interesting.
that the fact that he's been working with,
Madame LeBeau.
thank you.
You want to
She
say
has-
Angela
I just,
Bassett.
it's
Yeah,
like on
maybe.
the tip of my tongue, Angela Bassett.
That she's like blocked it.
That she's
somehow.
found a way or given him some sort of potion or something, or done some sort of spell to block
That would make total sense.
Witches.
That makes a lot of sense. Also, a fan just tweeted, and I thought it was brilliant, that what if that potion that Fiona took in the beginning for her youth from the guy that was making stuff, what
Right.
if that
Oh,
made her
yeah.
sick?
Oh.
Interesting.
That's
Just
very
a
interesting.
thought.
That is very interesting because he told her that it hadn't been tested.
On humans.
And she was like,
whatever, give it
and
to
we
me.
have no idea what it's
Yeah.
going to do, and blah, blah, blah. And then from that point on,
She's been sick.
her health goes
Yeah.
down.
Yeah, and that
downward spiral.
was John.
John from New York, I
Thank
believe.
you, John.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Thank you,
thank you.
John. Good call.
Yeah.
That
So
makes
there's a lot.
of
So
sense.
Madame LaBelle has a lot of powers, especially with her potions and
Yeah.
spells and everything that she can do. I think that's a great theory for Hank.
Right.
Yeah.
Protecting him because he's inside the coven essentially.
Well, she tells him, no more nonsense. You go to that house, you kill those witches, and you bring me their heads.
And
Listen.
burn the place to the ground.
I
Throw some
have
salt
to-
on the ground.
The entire time that he was Marie was talking to Hank, I couldn't help but think about the pact. Okay?
Right.
The pact that was to not kill.
The treaty.
Yeah, the treaty to not
But
kill.
she's technically not doing anything. She's ordered the kill, but she's not killing.
Ooh, does that violate the terms?
Yeah.
Who knows?
I don't know because
technically,
but if that's the case, if we're not going on the technical aspect, she's been violating the terms for years
Right.
without any of them knowing.
And she doesn't know that Fiona beheaded the Minotaur. Bastien. Like, she doesn't know that.
But she blames her for
she
it.
blames
Yeah.
her, but I mean, for all she knows, Fiona told someone else to do it. You know what I mean?
Right. Now I know, but like with every contract,
Mm-hmm.
there's always a loophole.
Right.
And she's just sort of found that loophole
With her witch hunter.
yeah, to get her endgame.
I have a question. So Foxy met the redhead, Kaylee,
Yes.
which we
Yes.
saw. But when she's like seeing her,
Why
like
is she not
crazy-
recognizing her?
Right.
Okay, I don't think her visions are very clear.
Okay. All right.
Because I thought about that as well. And I
Yeah.
think the visions are sort of coming in like flashes.
Yes.
And she's sort of like seeing parts, but not
She
everything.
said it's almost vibrating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And
And
that's all
I'm
she
hoping that, I mean, maybe we save that for prediction, but I'm hoping that they'll get clearer.
Yeah.
And that she will be able to see more and
things will
more.
stop, yeah.
And that maybe she'll be able to put things together.
Interesting.
I'm going to should hold on to that nugget.
Yeah.
But we go back to later on in the episode as we move forward with Foxy in her room. She's going to bed. She's got her lingerie on, which all women sleep in.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
You sleep in
Especially
like,
when you're
Super
blind.
hot.
when
yeah.
you're recently blind, you put on sexy underwear. I mean, come on.
Sexy
That's
outfit.
what you do.
And you kicked your cheating husband out of the house.
Yeah.
And you just came home from the hospital.
You're like, let me just
blind.
put on something
You
silky.
gotta feel good sometimes, you know?
Well, you know what? Thinking about it,
yourself.
if you just lost your sight, you might want to feel.
Yeah.
It would feel
Beautiful.
extra nice on your
Yeah.
skin.
That's true. She's like trying to take her pills.
Yeah.
And she senses that someone else is in the room. I don't know if she smells him or she just like senses the.
Well, I think she sees him.
Yeah, I think she sees him
Because
too.
it does look like she can.
Yeah.
him.
Which is
see
the
him.
clearest vision that she's had.
Yeah, and it's still blurry.
He's clearly
Yeah.
there's a white beam around him, but as he's walking towards her,
She can see him.
you
Yeah.
can see him.
And he sort of tells her, I'm in between, I guess, the living and the dead. And he's like, this other witch promised to set me free. Now you dance until they set me free.
Right.
Which
Sicko.
that part I didn't get that he wanted her to dance.
Well, it went with his whole jazzy.
Yeah, it was like you're gonna
situation.
dance to my jazz. You're gonna dance to my jazz saxophone,
Right.
or else.
Or else.
He's a misogynist.
He is a misogynist. I don't know why. I know that she doesn't want to set him free, but I don't know why she just doesn't dance for him. You know, that big of
Mainly
a
because
deal.
he's wielding an axe. And
Right.
He's at her.
She's trying to.
Because she's not
avoid that.
dancing.
But I don't think that it's really that simple of a contract. Like,
Right.
if you dance, then you live. Dance for me.
She did a good job of getting away.
She did an amazing
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was
For
also
being a
wondering,
blind chick.
too, like, she could see him. Could she see anything else around her at the time?
That's what I was wondering too. Like, if she can see him, is it like people that are dead that she can see, like ghosts? Like, is she going to be able to see like this whole, I don't know, like all the in-betweeners?
Spirits.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Who knows?
Well, luckily for her, Zoe let him out.
Yeah.
And he's just walking the streets now.
Can I just say, mightily, dramatically convenient that the door is locked
Right.
Right. Like
Right.
she locked herself in the room.
Right.
You know, and they can't get in. How did they get in? How do
The
they
door just
Well,
like
the door
flew
unlocked
open.
when
I think
they did
he
this
locked
spell.
it.
Yeah, I thought he locked it too. I kind of got that impression because
Yeah.
like she went. Didn't she like go towards the door at one point? I don't know.
Yeah, I thought she did
Yeah.
too. I thought that he was like keeping her in there forcefully.
Yeah.
He probably was.
Yeah.
That's right.
And did we love when he was released that 50 Cent Get Rich or Die Trying was playing?
Amazing.
I was like, this is all coming full circle.
It's like,
Thank
kill
you.
that guy.
And his
Who
stroll.
axed that person?
So there's only one thing that we haven't covered, if I believe, and that is that that Misty Day, while she's raiding the fridge, mentions that she's not staying.
Yeah.
And that this place has bad vibes.
Oh yeah.
And this is not
This
her
is not her
tribe.
tribe.
And
Yeah.
Zoe
Her
is
tribe.
like, I thought you were looking for your tribe. She's like, oh, I am. But this ain't it.
Yeah.
And I thought that was pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, this place does not feel good. I'm going back to the swamp.
I told you last week. I know what's gonna happen.
What's gonna happen?
She's starting her own tribe.
Starting her own tribe with
Myrtle is the new.
the Outcast tribe.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's also one other thing that we didn't discuss.
Oh, what is
Yeah,
it?
the
The
end.
Axeman leaves, goes to a jazz bar, and who does he find?
Oh, that's right,
Fiona.
Fiona.
Miss
Fiona, because
Fiona.
obviously Fiona's gonna fall in love with a misogynist.
Yeah.
Hello.
And a murderer.
Yeah, that was kind of.
I mean, they're kind of perfect for each other.
Yeah.
Listen, we know because I told you guys about that BuzzFeed article.
Right.
Yeah.
We know that this is going to be the love line for
Yeah.
her. You know, I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
I thought they were
this
cute.
will be her weird final
He is
love.
sophisticated.
Yes.
You know what I mean? He's cultured, sophisticated.
Has an old world style
sick
to
and
him.
twisted. She has all
world
those
style.
things too. As much as we
Yes.
love her, she's sick and twisted.
Yeah.
I mean, so they might actually be a pretty good pairing.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Fans, what do you think? Let us know.
What's going to be interesting is that if and when he meets Fiona, she's going to recognize the voice.
Ooh,
The Axeman.
but he just
I meant
did.
Foxy.
Oh, Foxy.
Yes. She's going
yeah.
to recognize the voice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you, David.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Dot, dot, dot.
Dot, dot, dot.
Well, and
seems-
she's gonna recognize. Like, well, is she still gonna be able to see him? Is the question now that he's been released?
Probably not,
Probably
but who
not.
knows? I mean,
Right.
there's so many questions when it comes to her
Right.
light and vision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on that note,
Let's jump into news and gossip.
Yeah, so much.
TV News.
okay, let me just start
What
off
do you guys
real
have?
quick, and then everyone else can get into their news and gossip. So Ryan Murphy tweeted, I believe yesterday, that Stevie Nicks, the original White Witch, is going to be on the Coven. We are so excited here, and I feel like the death of Stevie, aka her Misty's sort of music cassette player, I am just like hoping and praying. We don't know if Stevie's gonna sing, right?
Right.
But I'm just hoping.
Let's hope to God that she does.
Let's cross our little witchy fingers and hope that the White Witch
I think
will
it
be
was
singing.
one of our fans. It was like Patti LuPone and Stevie Nicks.
Have a sing-off.
Karaoke, sing off.
something like that.
That would be incredible.
Fantastic. And we don't know anything about what capacity she's coming in. Like
Right,
if it's
she
going to
might-
be a dream, fantasy.
And she
something.
might not even come in as Stevie Nicks.
Right.
She might
That's
come
true.
on
That's a
as a
good
different
point.
character.
Who knows? We don't know exactly when she's going to be on, but just judging by the sort of timeline of things, I feel like they're going to wait until after the first holiday break to have her on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
And I trust you. I trust your judgment, Jillian.
All right, who has something else?
I have the Axeman stuff. Should I?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about
share.
that.
Not really gossip or anything.
It's kind of
but-
gossip.
Okay, so I was curious
Fresh
because
news.
I love serial killers, and I was reading an interview with Ryan Murphy where he was talking about how he, like, when he started looking up things in New Orleans, he was like super fascinated by it's the Axeman of New Orleans. That's his like official name. And Marie Laveau, Madame Lalaurie were all, you know, people that really existed and that had a reign of terror and then just disappeared. Like nobody ever could confirm their death. Or when in the Axeman's case, from what I understand and from what I read, this is all like Wikipedia stuff and whatever, but like no one was ever convicted of the crimes. They never caught the guy. They had a suspect sort of, but then a historian came and like disproved that, like couldn't find anything to back it up. So like pretty much, and that guy's name was Joe, so that explains this. And the jazz thing, that was a rumor, like that was like his whole thing, and that letter was really sent to the paper. about, everyone has to listen to jazz. But who knows if that was an imposter, if that was like really him.
Right.
And the timeline is correct. It was May 1918 through October 1919 is when. And it was 11 people total that they could tie to him, yeah. And mostly women, and mostly Italian-American women. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah, but
there was also a difference from what you told me in how he chose his weapons as to the actual character on the show who carries around his own axe.
Right. In everything that I read, it said he usually murdered them with an axe from their own home.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he didn't walk around wielding an axe.
And I'm sure back then everyone had an axe to chop wood.
Right.
Because we all had wood burning stoves probably, in addition to fireplaces.
And it was definitely a female, even though he did kill a couple guys, there were a couple cases where he got into the house and he killed just the woman and left the guy living.
And I think you mentioned that the men were trying to protect the women that he was after, and those were the men he ended up killing.
Yeah.
So, wow.
Yeah. So it was really interesting. Yeah.
Okay.
Creepy.
Oriana.
Okay, so we talked about an article from Rolling Stone last week. This is a review from Rolling Stone, and it's done by Rob Sheffield. I just wanted to read a couple little snippets from it because it's so fabulous. If you can get your hands on it, read it because it talks about the White Witch and everything. But this is the beginning, and I'll give you a couple chunks. It says, fact, it's not a real coven until Stevie Nicks shows up. So American Horror Story Coven takes us to a cabin somewhere deep in the Louisiana swamp where two witches are cranking some vintage Fleetwood Mac. Coven, the third installment of American Horror Story, is easily the best incarnation yet. Ryan Murphy's bloodbath of a franchise is setting ratings records for FX, and it deserves no less. And all the gold dust women of Coven are a bloody great time. Jessica Lange, Angela Bassett, Kathy Bates, Patti LuPone, and more arrivals every week. Where else can you see so many grand dames try to outbitch each other so fiercely? These ladies are not here to check their egos at the door and work together as a team. Coven makes Scandal look like a seminar on understated acting, but there's no point going for subtlety in a story like this. And the final thing says, but Coven understands why we get so scared of witches, because they're cooler than us. Not to mention louder, sexier, and stevier. So look, this is called Season of the Bitch, and it's a review by Rob Sheffield in the Rolling Stone. It's a great article. I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
And that's your news and gossip.
Ooh.
Let's jump into predictions.
All right.
Oh, jeez.
And now,
Who said oh,
your
geez?
AfterBuzz.
Me.
Oh, why?
I just...
Well, now we're starting with you.
I was gonna say that the preview, I know we saw a lot, but I didn't write anything down because I was just so in it.
I'm with you.
You know what I mean? I'm
Yes.
oh, whoa, and I don't even know what to say.
There has to be something that you saw in the preview that you were like, oh.
There's things I'm excited about. I'm excited about seeing what transpires between Fiona and the Axeman.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very, very excited about Fiona finding out that MM is alive again. And her reaction to that. I'm hoping it's in the coming episode. I'm hoping she's not too busy, with her man to pay attention to other things. And that's really it. So,
Okay.
yeah, sorry.
Ladies?
Well, I still believe that another coven will be forming. I don't know who exactly is going to be in it, but I do have a feeling that Misty is sort of going to be spearheading the campaign for a different coven. Also, we see Queenie sort of meeting with Murray Laveau, and I don't know what that's about. I don't really know if you guys can tell me sort of what makes Queenie a part of Fiona's coven as opposed to Madame Laveau's coven. I'm a little confused by that, but it looks like Madame Laveau is sort of conspiring to get Queenie.
Yeah.
Well, I think the question is Queenie a descendant of Salem or of Tituba? Even though they're related, there seems to be this split.
Which is what I said earlier on in the season,
Yes.
is that she was a descendant of Tituba. not making her a witch, technically.
Right. So
As opposed to one of the descendants of the Salem witches,
I'm just
which were
wondering-
gifted from Tituba.
I'm just wondering if it has to do with Foxy's recruiting process also. Like, did she recruit Queenie like she did with Alexandra Breckenridge? What is her character's name? I don't remember. Kaylee, the redhead. Like she did with Kaylee. You know, she found out that she,
committed a crime.
Was charged with arson, but knew that she was a witch. So I'm excited to see sort of Queenie's storyline flourish and the new Coven form. Oriana?
I predict that Foxy is going to really have stronger visions, that her light is going to illuminate the truth. I think she's going to see a lot more about Hank. I think she is going to, I hope that she's going to see the redhead and she's going to start putting things together. It may take a while, but I think that she's going to have more clarity. We see in the preview that she gets a feeling, she gets a vision of Madison being murdered by Fiona. So I think that she's going to end up being the detective. She's going to end up taking over. And whether that means she's the Supreme or not, or it just means that she comes into her own in the same way that Zoe is coming into her own right now. That's my predictions, and I'm really excited to see her finally, really claim her own power.
What do you think? Sorry, and then I'll let you speak. I just thought of this when you were talking. What do you think is going to happen with Hank? Because he said, he was told by Madame Laveau, he better kill them or else he's going to die. I
hope that he dies. A horrible death, because he's going to be put between a rock and a hard place, right? I mean, at this point, Cordelia knows something. If she gets a touch on him, she's going to see even more, and she's going to know that redhead was someone that she recruited, and that she may find out. We don't know.
Also, if we're going with the trend that Ryan Murphy has, Hank's not going to be in the next episode.
That's what I was just going to say.
Because he's a man.
Yeah.
And in the review that I was just talking about, it even says that Ryan Murphy, but Coven tops the first 2 seasons because it mostly dispenses with a genre of humanity Murphy doesn't seem to have sympathy for. The people we could loosely categorize as men.
I love that, loosely categorized.
But I want to know David's prediction.
Yeah, David.
My predictions so far that are going on in my head, one was that Hank wasn't going to be there next week. I think it's going to be a couple episodes before we see him again. I think he's going to be in the wings waiting to make his return, trying to figure out how he's going to take over. I also have a feeling that Madison is not... She's alive, but I have a feeling that she's not living. That she's not human, but she's not a zombie.
Okay.
Something's wrong with her insides.
Something's wrong with her insides. I'm with you. What's with the music? Jesus.
He turned it up
really
as well.
Hates me. It's totally fine. I feel like, because we're running out of time. Whatever, that's it. It's fine. No. Where can everybody find you, people? I can tweet my predictions.
I'm at Sarah on the go, Sarah with an H, and SarahBear627 on Instagram.
You can find me at Jillian Leff on Twitter, or at Jilly Leff on Instagram, or my website, JillianLeff.com.
You can find me at Miss Oriana Leo on Twitter. Instagram is Oriana Leo, or on Facebook, I'm almost to 200 followers for Oriana Leo Official.
Nice. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at You Can Call Me Skiff. Don't search for me on Facebook. You'll have the hardest time finding me. I don't know why. I wish you could. But from everyone here at the AfterBuzz TV family, we will see you next week. Talk to you soon.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.